Happy Thursday, everyone, and we welcome you today. My father and I thank you for jumping in on episode 8 of our Brown Bagging It with Dave and Ryan today. You're in for some good takeaways today. Additionally, we welcome those who are watching us on the replay of Facebook and our Dave and Ryan team YouTube channel. As we work our way through the uncertainties of this pandemic, my father and I were looking for a better way to stay in touch with the Pettis County Sedalia market. That would be one major reason that we wanted to do these webinars. It give the public a chance to stay educated on the real estate industry and a chance to introduce you to more in depth on our local partners and their daily responsibilities. Moving right along, today's guest is the publisher of the Sedalia Democrat. In his role, he oversees our local newspaper's operations. He joined the staff in 2017 from the Rapid City Journal in Rapid City, South Dakota. It is here that he served as an advertising sales manager. I'm personally not totally certain that the Sedalia Democrat did a real in-depth job vetting our speaker, because somehow they allowed a diehard Denver Bronco fan and Nebraska Cornhusker fan into our community. Not sure we've quite steered him over to being the Chiefs and Mizzou fan. That's a work in progress. Anyway, he was born and raised in western Nebraska and started his newspaper career in 2004. And this was at his local hometown newspaper in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. He's married to wife Shayla, and they have 5 children. We can't wait to hear from Will Weibert of the Sedalia Democrat in a few short minutes. As far as our layout for today, we will be starting with the real estate today. My dad will be bringing some brief figures as far as what the real estate performance has been like in Sedalia and Pettis County for the first 6 months of 2020. Then we'll get a glimpse into our hometown news source. In this segment, we'll provide what newsworthiness is happening locally along some things that are currently being utilized and being rolled out by the Sedalia Democrat. Final portion will be dedicated to answering your burning questions. We'll turn the table, and this will be your time to ask us and Will questions, either about real estate or the local newspaper. And what I'm going to request is if you put your questions in the remarks portion at any time during the broadcast, and I'll be monitoring the feedback, and we'll have my dad or Will answer them at that given point. If there's a question, if for some reason we don't know the answer or it takes a little extended period, we will private message you back individually. With that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic on to my dad, Dave, who is going to give us a synopsis of the Sedalia real estate market. It's all yours.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, according to your personality type, the next few minutes are going to be either the most boring thing you can imagine or a time of interesting discovery. If you despise numbers and statistics, go get a glass of tea and for a couple of minutes. If you're like me and feel that numbers and statistics tell a story and give you an idea of what might be happening in the future, well, hang on. We're going to have some fun. The first 6 months of 2020 have been a wild and in some ways unexpected ride in the Pettis County residential real estate market. I will mention that all of the numbers I am using in this discussion were extracted from the West Central Association of Realtors Multiple Listing Service. As 2020 began, we were aware that the listing inventory of 187 residential properties with 32 of these properties under contract was very low. Normally, the inventory rises rather rapidly after the start of the year. This year, the inventory has not surpassed 216 properties for sale in the MLS for Pettis County in the first 6 months. And the number of on-contract homes has risen, normally to the 60 or 70 range. As of Monday, August 3rd, the inventory was again at 187 homes, but with 70 residences on contract, leaving only 117 homes available for sale in Pettis County. January started slowly in sales, with February action growing slowly. Early in March, we watched with concern and uncertainty as the COVID-19 started to rear its ugly head. When starting with mid-March, various lockdowns came into place, and myself and a lot of other real estate professionals began to say, well, this is going to kill the market for a while with the lockdowns and our low inventory. When people would ask about the market during this time, I would normally reply, we just have to look at the numbers after this has settled down a little. After I looked at the June monthly results, I realized that our company had had the best sales closing month in our history. I started to study the results for the MLS as a whole and found that the entire market had a great month. This is realizing that the closings in June were put on contract during April and May during the lockdown period for the economy and during a time of extremely low listing inventory. As it turned out, the MLS indicates that there were 71 homes sold through the MLS at a value of more than $11 million in the month of June. This is the most transactions in dollars ever reported by the local MLS in 1 month. Looking at the entire period from January 1 to June 30, 2020, there were 269 transactions reported through the MLS in that period. This represents an increase of 5.9% more than in 2019. The dollars represented by these transactions was $39,753,098, an increase of 17.8% over the same 2019 period. The median price, that is the price that 50% of the properties sold over and 50% below, grew by 14.3% to $130,000. The median days on market during that period was 76 days, which is 5 days less than during 2019's first 6 months. Homes did sell at 97.3% of their asking price. The most popular price range of homes that was sold was priced between $100,000 and $150,000. This is replacing the $50,000 to $100,000 range that's been the most popular price previously. There were 18 homes that sold above $300,000, with 15 of those being between $300,000 and $400,000, leaving 3 properties that sold above $400,000 in the Pettis County market. The question now becomes, we're having such a great residential market in Pettis County during a pandemic, or why are we having such a great residential market in Pettis County during a pandemic and a major economic downturn? I believe there are several factors in play that are causing the strong housing market. Number one is we're having historically low interest rates for home loans, with interest rates for 30-year fixed rate mortgages in the low 3% range, with a few loans being quoted in the upper 2% range. Number two is that the Sedalia area economy is basically very strong, with most of our industries continue to operate at near full capacity. Number three is buyers realize that when a home meets their needs, becomes available, they must act on it now, or it may be sold to someone else by tomorrow. So how do these great numbers affect you as a potential buyer or seller? If you're a potential seller, the first question is, what am I going to do when my home sells? If you have a set answer for this question, it is time to get your home prepared and on the market. If you do not know the answer to that question, then it is time for you to call Ryan and I, and we will have an honest discussion about the best path in the near future. If you are a potential buyer, then the best route for you is to talk with Ryan and I, and we will create a plan that will get you in the home of your needs and dreams as soon as logically possible. We really look forward to being of service to you. This time it's going to be my pleasure to turn the mic over to Will Weibert, who is the publisher of the Sedalia Democrat newspaper, and who happens to also be the vice president of the the Sedalia, I was going to give you a promotion there, the Sedalia Chamber of Commerce, and asked Will, what is moving and shaking in the Chamber of Commerce and as it relates to Sedalia? Will, it's all yours.
Well, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me today, guys. And you were speaking to the economy in June of why is home selling doing so well. It's because we do have a strong community, and we also have a very strong Chamber of Commerce as well. Tons of action happening at the Chamber right now. We have ribbon cuttings about every day, nearly, sometimes twice a day. Those would be either a new business in town or an expansion or a remodel. Those are all great things for local businesses. And then we also have our fun events that are happening. For instance, this month we have our golf tournament that I participate in but never win. And then we also have coming up soon is our Piccadilly Gala, and that's always fun. It's for the ladies out there, but they put me in a little suit and tie, and I get to serve everybody, so that's fun. So there's a lot of things happening and shaking with the Chamber of Commerce for sure.
Looking at more your industry point of view, I know it's been an interesting time in newspapers as a whole. What's your current snapshot that you'd say of the Sedalia Democrat and the newspaper industry?
Well, that's a great question. You asked me this today, it'll be a different answer tomorrow. We are in an industry of change for sure. We've been in business for 152 years, and in those 152 years, things have definitely changed. There's the way people ingest their news now is a lot different than they did even 5 to 10 years ago. So we're always having to adapt to the changing market, and but the idea is that we want to make sure we're providing the news and the content and the service that our community members in Sedalia and Pettis County deserve, and we strive every day to make that happen. Some things that are changing our market right now especially in Sedalia, is that we had to take a real hard look after COVID-19, the pandemic happened, it did take a pretty good chunk of our business away. When local advertising or when local advertisers struggle, so does their ad dollars. However, on the plus side, we did see a circulation growth, which means more people wanted and needed our news at the time. So it was kind of a trade-off there. But ultimately, financially wise, the money comes from the advertising side. So we did have to put some cost-saving measures in place just recently. The biggest being that we are moving from carrier-forced home delivery to utilize the United States Post Office right now to deliver the remainder of our papers. We did this for a few reasons. Number one is finding carriers are pretty tough to find. Delivering newspapers in the middle of the night. So we had a lot of open routes out there, and the service wasn't the best for our subscribers. They were missing papers, or papers were coming late. So it was just a hard bargain to try to find newspaper carriers. And then secondly, cost efficiency. It makes a lot more financial sense to my business or our business to deliver with the post office every day. When we're delivering 5,000 newspapers, every penny we can save is a penny earned. So unfortunately, there's some good things with it and some bad things that are happening with it. And I feel the good by far outweighs the bad on the moving to the mail. And secondly, the idea is more and more people nowadays are reading their content online. And we are rolling out a brand new website within the next 30 days, which will streamline the process. We'll have better user engagement, quicker load speeds. We'll also have a brand new e-edition for people who want to read their paper digitally. So we're putting other things in place to also grow the digital side of the market.
With the talking about the digital end of things, I mean, I don't want to totally jump into pricing, but is that something that's included in the price of your normal circulation, or is that going to be an add-on?
No, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. If you're a print subscriber right now, and we're trying to get the word out to all of our subscribers, if you're already a print subscriber, you do get full access to SedaliaDemocrat.com and our e-edition. So you get full access. Now there are some people who find that they never use the print product and only want to subscribe to our digital product. And we have a special rate for that. If you're not a subscriber right now, it's only 99 cents for your first month. And then after that, it's only $10 a month for a full access e-edition newspaper. So the price is right. For $10 a month, a lot of people can go out there and help support local journalism, which is important in every single community. Sometimes I think it gets taken for granted of the importance of quality local journalism. But we try to make it as affordable and as easy to use as we possibly can.
Hey, well, something that is probably both your lifeblood and our lifeblood is new residents to our area. Talk about a little how you guys try to reach those new residents and let them know about you. And, it's also an area where we're always looking.
Sure, absolutely. And we monitor heavily, especially this year with all the movement happening with people in our area. But we subscribe to a new movers list that we buy from a company called Info USA out of Omaha. But what they do is that they actually track new movers to the area via new utility hookups. So if somebody comes to Sedalia or Pettis County, they set up utilities for the first time in their name, we get a notification from our company that there's been a new mover in your area. And when we first subscribed to this list, we were unaware of how many actually exist. I was thinking maybe 5 or 10 a month, but on average for the first since now into July, we're averaging 86 new movers in just Sedalia alone. And those are people that either A, moved from outside the area, or B, moved out on their own. So these are essentially new hookups to the utility company. And that's exciting. And what we do with those people is, we send them out a letter, welcome to the area, let them know about some of the great features that Sedalia has to offer, not only with my newspaper, but with the Chamber of Commerce. We also give them a lot of welcome packet that has some coupons and things to area businesses, but then also an offer for a 1 month free subscription to the paper. And that helps them, of course, start reading our content, but really dig down in the community of what's happening in the community. And we're finding great success with that marketing plan as well. But when you think, 86 new people every single month, that's a great thing to hear.
That is for sure. I definitely kind of a follow-up to that one, kind of selfishly talking about our industry. What are you all doing down at the Democrat that puts the focus on real estate to the public?
Oh, that's one thing that's very important to our readers, even though some of our readers have subscribed to the paper for decades and almost, half centuries, is, their majority of our readers are homeowners. They read the paper every single day. So they're interested in what the market is doing. But what we also offer, of course, is some advertising opportunities when it comes to, especially for real estate. Real estate and the newspaper have been partners in business since the inception of the newspaper. They've always been one of our best customers is real estate. And not only is traditional media that we handle with the real estate market, but we also handle some non-traditional media, being with search engine optimization, search engine marketing, programmatic direct targeting on the websites, as well as social media marketing that we help a lot of our realtors with as well. So not only is it just a great ad in the newspaper, which is proven for centuries to get net you great results, but now we can fine tune and hone in a little bit deeper where we can actually target your specific audience on the World Wide Web.
Kind of watching we move along in the presentation, watching the feed. So if anybody has questions, certainly pass them along to us and we'll get them answered.
Well, Will, just what's your crystal ball, and pick your subject, either what do you think is going to happen in Sedalia or what do you see happening in the newspaper, just your crystal ball into the next 5 years.
It's going to be a crystal ball look, but I have been monitoring quite a bit, and we put a 5-year plan together, and ultimately the goal is to push more digital when it comes to all of our offerings on advertising, but also on the subscription side. There are some newspaper owners, publishers out there that are really doing some drastic things that I've really been watching closely. There's a group in Arkansas right now, the Arkansas Gazette, the daily newspaper in Little Rock, that they moved from a daily statewide newspaper 7 days a week to a 1 day a week newspaper, only delivering on Sundays, but then offering the remainder of their day still digitally. And to go one step further with that, they bought every one of their subscribers a brand new iPad. So yeah, so if you're going to do that, you're taking a risk, understanding that this is the way to stay relevant and stay solvent in this business. We're going to have to really change our model up, and so that's a model I've been watching for a long time. I'm not saying we're going to go out there and do that, but that's very innovative.
I want my iPad.
Yeah, absolutely. But when our switch moved to digital, our biggest thing that we're doing right now is going to be able to launch a brand new website. We have right now, we have nearly 500,000 page views every single month on our website, and about 150,000 unique people every single month that come to our website. So it's very, very highly trafficked. But we want to make sure the end user experience is the best it can be. So we're focusing on making sure our articles and ads load quickly and accurately. We want to make sure if you're a subscriber that it's easy to subscribe or log on to your account and make sure you're utilizing full access of it. So we're really painstakingly right now is going through page by page, section by section, and developing a brand new website. So that should be within the next 30 days in hopes.
Kind of, I think, wrapping things up, I was going to ask you, just from what I can tell, just been in the real estate business since 97, that it appears your front end staff is probably less than what it was back then, but you're also probably having to pull off more as far as with the online preparation. Are you requiring that your staff wear more hats now, or how is that working?
You're absolutely right with that, Ryan, is that, we're not only specialized in one thing. Every employee here is specialized in everything. Just the other day, I was out in the middle of the night doing a down route. It's all hands on deck right now in the newspaper world. And technology, we didn't fight technology. We adapted to technology, and that made things a lot easier. When I got into the business in 2004, I remember my very first day at the job, somebody said, yeah, we have a website. It's this, I think, but I never go to it. And nowadays, we spend hours a day on social media postings and and uploading to the website. So, things have changed. looking back in 1986, we have a picture on the wall that had all of our employees, and there was well over 150 employees to put out a newspaper every day. And right now we have about 40 employees that do the exact same thing. But technology has made our job a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Well, we absolutely know the extras you have to do in today's world that wasn't as much called for by given individuals prior. So we certainly appreciate what you're bringing to Sedalia. Just as a wrap-up question, I know Denver drafted our Mizzou quarterback here about 2 years ago, and he did okay until he hit the Chiefs at the end of last year. Did y'all do anything in the off season to give him better protection to try to slip up on the world champion Chiefs?
I know it's, he's got a pro arm and a pro mind, and he can play football. My wife's a diehard Chiefs fan, and when we were living out in western Nebraska, she, to appease me, she'd cheer for the Broncos as long as they weren't playing for the Chiefs. And now I'm cheering for the Chiefs as long as they're not playing the Broncos. And we actually made the Denver Bronco Chiefs game December 6th was my birthday to watch the Luck Boy play, and Chiefs beat us pretty handedly. So he didn't have his best game, but in the stands everybody was cheering him on. They wanted him to do a great job and only lose by 1 point.
Yeah, that was my take on things. So anyhow, I'm gonna put up a screen here that has ourselves and Will's information. We, by all means, thank everybody that jumped in on today's episode. And if you have any questions along the way of what's going on there at the Democrat, by all means, communicate with them. Here's our details. Want hard copies of what we presented on the stats if you're the one that didn't tune out when my dad was covering things. And as a reminder, our episodes will replay on the Dave and Ryan Remax Sedalia YouTube channel. You can get this one and our prior 7. And while there, we would certainly be honored if you subscribe yourself to the channel and you can get future video alerts. In the business we're in, we're always looking at ways to improve our public offerings. And we're going to announce today that y'all be the first to hear that we're going to try a little something different with our brown bagging. We're definitely going on with the same approach with getting good details from our presenters. But what we're going to try is our next one, we're going to jump in and offer a trimmed down version of each episode. We'll more or less cover a single topic with them, and we'll bring a few of those versions more often as we go along, and they'll be more like a 7 to 10 minute version instead. And bearing that in mind, we will be bringing on Matt Boatwright to visit with us in 2 weeks on Thursday, August 20th. Mark your calendars. Matt's the Sedalia Pettis County Market President for our Wood and Houston Bank, which opened up, I believe, last September here in Sedalia. And he's going to cover topics ranging from the recent groundbreaking at 10th and Winchester to some of the non-conventional loan offerings that they may have. These are important with people not as allowing contingencies as much on the sale of their house. So you may need that to get moved into the next house rather than relying on the sale of your house before. So you can watch that for that recording on our Facebook page or, as I mentioned, on our YouTube channel. So hopefully as a wrap, we gave you some useful information today that you can take out and roll with. And again, we thank Will and everybody else for jumping in. So have a fantastic day, and 3 of us will talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.